on the next episode of Pressed into Purpose.
Hi, thank you. If we never met, my name is Sam. You prayed for the miracle. God used you. Thank you.
She didn't say, Lord, guide this session, give us wisdom.
No.
She said, you are God of miracles.
That is how
I know you can work a miracle.
And I was like, wow. But for me, it was like, you said you wanted a Christian therapist. You've been saying that, you're following God in this situation. So you can't be mad that she just prayed for a miracle. Because obviously that's what you need. That's what y'all need is a miracle. Hello, and welcome to Pressed into Purpose podcast.
What has surprised you about marriage?
Just how much sacrifice and compromise is required.
Okay. And what about you, Sam?
Well,
Or maybe nothing surprised you.
well, about marriage, the surprises for me is a little bit more than just the marriage itself, but I will agree it will require sacrifices. This is how I could best say it. Thank you, Lord. The surprise about marriage for me is that what you do, you will reap. How you go about fulfilling your part of the marriage, you will reap. Meaning and there were things that I have done thinking I was doing well, but it wasn't. I have reaped in ways that, okay, I thought I was, but I wasn't. So yes, it was a shock value. And so the surprise for me is how much, really being honest, for me, the surprise was how much I really need to lean on the Lord to make sure this marriage goes right.
Okay, so you mean in terms of some of the decisions you made?
Decisions made,
Okay.
actions, what my interpretations were about, and how I view points, and then also I go back to our pastors of Lifeline Church, the historical makeup, and it's surprised how much of the historical makeup really defined who I was.
That is true.
Meaning the marriage you in the marriage you witnessed in the house you grew up in,
right?
Or those relationships impacted you. Okay.
Yes, those actions, those decisions, and even though I don't want to, but at the same time, if it's in you, if you don't dealt with, it will show up. Maybe not in those ways, but it will show up.
Yeah, because we all experience things, good and bad. No one is perfect. No marriage is perfect.
Right.
And as much as I can speak for myself in my own marriage and my children and my parents, watching them, I thought, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I could do this with some modifications. And then there I was with my own family, trying things, thinking that I was doing okay. And then hearing from my children and my ex-husband, oh, that's not working for me. And that's not. And so, having to pivot. So sometimes when we hear things from the ones we love that don't exactly align with what we are trying to express, it's a little uncomfortable. So I can say, when I talk to my children now and they tell me something that I don't necessarily agree with, or maybe it's hard to hear, I listen and I say, okay, all right, well, how can we move forward? And if I apologize, if necessary, whatever. I wasn't always like that. Sometimes I'd just be like, but I thought I was
doing the right
I was
thing.
trying and I was
doing my best.
I was doing my best. That's what I thought. That's what I thought you said you wanted.
Right.
Or that's what I thought you needed based on what I knew, like you said, the
My understanding,
my understanding of the
my
situation.
perspective, you know.
Yeah.
So and I had a lot of aha moments, a lot of
Right.
but I had to come to that point. So I want to know, in your marriage, my marriage didn't last long enough for this, but in your marriage, how did you get to the point where you said, this is difficult, but I love my spouse. I love this relationship. I need this to work. So I'm going to do XYZ to make it work. Was there a particular incident, or would you just like wake up one morning and say, you know what, I'm tired of feeling like this. I want it to be better. Or just tell me how you move from the dream to managing reality to the successful relationship that you have today.
Okay, I'll start.
Let me tell you something. 20 years is not a small accomplishment.
It is not.
And you all have said that you're going to go the distance.
Yes.
20 years is a big deal. And so the 20 years, tell me about that.
So a lot has transpired over these 20 years. So we've been married 20 years. We've been together 23 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Something like that, yeah.
So that's half your lives.
I mean, yeah, at this point, more than half. So yeah, we have definitely faced a lot of challenges, and I was thinking about this last night or this morning, and I thought about how our marriage is really broken up into 8s.
Okay.
So
tell me about that.
So we're in year 20, but I say our first 8 years and then our second 8 years, and I can clearly define those because we separated twice.
Okay,
we separated at year 8, and we separated at year 16. And I don't know that I really thought about that very much until the last couple days. Like, it was 8 and 8, but we know that 7 is the number of completion, is 8, and 8 is new beginnings, and so we have literally had a couple of new beginnings within our marriage.
Wow, that 8 years that you all have been married for 8 years, the first time you split up.
Yeah.
Wow, looking back, it's like, but at the time it was like, yeah, it just, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And so I'm like, man, we, to begin to answer your question, we definitely were not communicating well in those first 8 years. Really not at all. Yeah. We were talking a lot. Mm-hmm. We were both
talking that.
Yeah. Okay. We had a whole lot of, there was no shortage of sharing feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were never that couple that didn't share our thoughts. We've always shared our thoughts.
I want to step in there and say, what you said about our foundational relationships? What's
historical makeup?
Historical makeup.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up in a house where there was no shortage of sharing feelings
at all,
but there was no context for it.
Now,
there was no context, and even though it accomplished the purpose of letting the other person know how you felt, there wasn't always resolution, no tact. No consideration for the other person's feelings.
True.
And many times, as you said, no resolution.
Yeah.
So we learned how to express ourselves.
Yeah.
But we did not learn how to temper that. And we didn't learn how to take the next step. So that's interesting. So that's 8. And you were just coming out of the house. Yeah. And the family. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so we really struggled to understand one another. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we decided, so let's just talk about the elephant in the room, which is Black people in therapy is not something that was, well received.
Yeah, it's much better received now, but back then it was like,
exactly, like it was.
Ain't nothing wrong with me.
Right. Well, I ain't finna go talk to nobody,
especially in church.
Right, because Jesus can fix it.
Jesus can just pray about it.
Pray about it. Jesus can pray fast.
And people were drowning and
dying.
Listen,
yes. And so it was like, well, okay, and the first person that I personally knew to go to therapy was our sister Vanessa. And so she went to therapy and I was like, well, I mean, I don't know about that. And then our sister Vita started going to getting her degree in Christian counseling. And so she had to do therapy for that. And I remember having a conversation with them at some point, and I was just like, I'm so glad that this therapy is working for y'all, and it's really, helping y'all, but I don't need that.
And the stigma was so strong.
Yes.
I started I started going in my 20s. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't even tell I didn't tell my husband. I didn't tell anybody.
So you were going to therapy too, and nobody. Okay.
Because because you going to therapy, you must be crazy.
Exactly.
Or something is wrong with you.
Yes.
Making me the complete fall guy.
Exactly.
Right. So it's like
exactly.
I don't even want to have these conversations. So let me I'm feeling like this. Let me go. Yeah.
And so I want to. Did you start therapy by yourself first, or did we go to therapy together? So I think we both individual. Yeah, we both decided, okay, we are not doing well. This isn't working well. You go find you a therapist. I'm gonna go find me a therapist, and
But I think we went to therapist during the first separation.
Yes.
Because we didn't do. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but when you ask the question, what surprises you in marriage? When your wife said, I think we should separate.
Okay.
That's why I was like, I was being very calm. Now it's out there. I'm gonna let you know.
Now we in it.
We in it. Yeah. So the first surprise of marriage is when it was during the housing bubble. We made a decision. Next thing I know, we in the midst of packing up and going, and then she said, yeah, I think we should live separately. In the midst of packing up the house and moving
so it was
out.
a complete surprise to you.
Complete surprise. I had no idea that this was going to happen. You thought we had
this together. We gonna move. We'll find this new place and move together.
Right. So I had to move back in with my parents.
Okay.
And then then the second surprise was during the COVID. Thanks, COVID. Appreciate it. COVID-16. Was COVID-16? 19. Oh, I'm going to say, man, if you fell on the 16, COVID-19. Thank you. Thank you very much. And then she says, separation is necessary. I'm like, what the? And necessary. But she didn't say divorce.
Did she say why? We don't have to get into it.
You ain't never read.
I told you.
She said, well, basically, I was not still. So here's the thing. Our journey is very funny. She said 8's in marriage. I'm going back into our actual dating.
Okay.
We will be on for 9 months, then break for 3.
Okay.
On for 9, break for 3. On for 9, got married. On for 8, separate. On for 8, separate. And when we got back together, no way. No more 8s. No more 8s.
No more 8s and no more 9s.
No more 8s or 9s.
Okay, we not doing. We in it to win it at this point.
Listen, no, you all were consistent.
Very consistent. But the beauty of our consistency is we was on for 9. We broke for the 3. We dealt with what was the reason for that breaking.
That is true.
When we came back, that reason never showed up. But another thing came up.
Right.
And we dealt with that.
Yeah.
Then God said, y'all meant to be, we got married. And then when it came to 8, we dealt with those things that caused that separation. And we dealt with it, got back together. Those things never came back up. Then this last 8, that's when God said, now I got you. You mature. I got to really deal with you. He dealt with me. He dealt with her.
Yeah.
And then next, okay, Lord, what we do? He said, come back together. Even right now, I will still remember the day when she called and when the things that I tried to get her to say, because we know we're the things that I seen, I tried to speak on, but at the same time, though, she keep reminding me of my faults. And it's not fair to say, well, I'm not going to change because you're doing this. It's not fair.
I think I need to explain what my thought process in that. So in order for people to understand, like what that means.
Yeah.
No. So I always felt like he had 80% of the problems and I had 20% of the problems.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, until he work on getting that 80 cut down, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just gonna keep being who I am.
Okay.
While he works on his 80%.
Okay.
And then when he gets a little bit further down in the percentage with issues, then I'll work on my stuff. I know it's that. No, saying it out loud sounds jacked up, but in my mind, that was like totally legit. At the
I was just laughing because, as you said, when he gets his stuff together, we're gonna be all right.
Right.
Because
then she
I'm
working on her
working on
20.
I only got 20% of the issues.
So I have to get down to maybe 50% before she work on 5. And, I don't know. But even then, in that, let's be real now. She got 80% to my 20. Because at the end of the day, we both come in there thinking, I'm fine, you're not.
That is true.
Yeah, I was going to interject that.
That is so true.
I'm fine, you're not.
Yeah.
The problem was, we are definitely 2 separate different people.
Yeah.
Okay? Go ahead.
That's one of the things that I wanted to focus on. You all seem so opposite.
And are.
My mama calls you her social butterfly. You don't meet strangers, you meet friends.
True.
You're very introverted. It takes you longer to warm up to people, but once you warm up to people and you realize that okay, this is a good thing for me. You're very loyal. You're very committed.
Yeah.
And you're very you're very invested. And you don't. This is just me from the outside looking.
No, I appreciate it.
You don't. You stay. You don't leave. You're.
Now, that is very true.
He is
Tree
very
planted
loyal.
by the river.
You listen.
Valeria will. Valeria is too, but she when something doesn't feel good, doesn't serve her.
We got to figure out a way to change
No, it's
that.
got to. I can't. No, I don't care how much this is. I don't. I'm not.
And just to set the record straight, every breakup and every separation did not come from me. Came from her.
Those are facts.
It came from her. So what you're saying is very true. I'm talking to the people like we got a whole audience. I mean, technically we
Tell the people. Tell the people.
So I mean, what she's saying is very true. Is that I'm always thinking we good. I'm not saying I'm okay. In my mind, I'm like, I know I'm messed up. I know I'm not all perfect. I know I'm not great. I'm not Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
None of us are.
None of us are. And so for her to say to break up, I'm like, okay, well, why are we breaking up?
Wait,
I mean,
he said, and why we separating again?
why are we separating? Like seriously, I'm like, why are we separating again? Now here's the thing. I knew the second time I knew what because when she said the day I will never forget the day, it was 4th of July. I asked a question. And the tone that she delivered, I said, oh, I can't cuss, it's pressing the purpose. But
I done messed up now.
I mean, man, what the I'm like, what? And so I knew the reason why, but in the midst of the separation, we dealt with more issues of the root.
Yes.
And what really helped me to be where I'm at today is because of the fact of I was driving Uber, and I was listening to 1390, and the late hours they got the Chuck Swindoll.
Okay.
And he said the greatest, the most difficult relationship of all, I think it was the name of it. And he talked about it was marriage. And I was like, okay, I need to hear this because I mean, you helping me here. And he said there's only one commandment given to marriage. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. That is not given to the wife. But I also do unto others you expect done unto you. So if you're not getting love from your wife, then the question is, are you loving your wife? Am I doing the things that's supposed to be done to give her the atmosphere and the environment to reciprocate? And if I'm not, and so when I heard that, I'm like, oh. I know we took vows, but oh yeah. And I read that before the whole journey to getting married. And it's never until that day it clicked and hit me. I'm like, oh.
So that was one of your moments.
That is my own moments in separation. But you know what? You're right. It was still during marriage because we wasn't divorced.
Right, you weren't divorced.
I still had the ring on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this ring was still there, even during the separation.
That's actually one of the things that there are a lot of things that I admire about your marriage is it has grown, but that's one of the things after that second separation, because the first separation I was like, they ain't gonna stay separated. They ain't gonna say separated. Because I kept asking Valeria, do you love him? Do you love him?
Listen, so he moved back with his parents. I moved into my sister's basement. And every day she would be like, but do you love him? And I'm like, that doesn't matter. That's not what we're talking about here. We got this, and this to deal about. She was like, but do you love him?
And I knew that there hadn't been, well, to my knowledge, there hadn't been any physical abuse or, anything like that. So I was like, well, every marriage goes through something. This is just me. Every marriage goes through something. And thinking about my own marriage, I was thinking, well, they can get through that. I mean, it wasn't like, they can get through that. My thought was, that ain't nothing. But then, of course, I know it is something to you all. It's a big deal. But I would ask, do you love him? Because I was out there trying to date and it just wasn't working. And I was like, you all seem so well matched, at your core, your core values. And I thought, well, they can figure that out. That love that you all have for each other was evident that after that first separation. Okay. And you got back together. Second time though, 8 years later, I was surprised that that you all separated again. And I wasn't sure.
I wasn't.
If you all were going to get back together.
I was convinced that we were not.
I was like, and I kept saying, do you love him? And the eye rolls that I got. And I was like, but ain't nothing out here. He loves her.
Because to your point earlier, I was tired. And so you can get fatigue. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
In any relationship,
yes.
you can get fatigued. Like if there are things that you are dealing with and you've talked about ad nauseum, or you've just thought things that you thought you worked through, but then they rear their ugly heads again. Sometimes you're just like,
and you didn't feel his love.
I'm not. Well, I'll put it this way. I'm not going to say that he didn't love me. I'm going to say that the question was, I didn't feel his love. I wasn't receiving the love because there were things in the way of me receiving the love. So there were things that I was specific things I was looking for to show that love. And
so I want to go back to what you said about your moment. This is during that second separation. So, you were driving around middle of the night, listening to this, and you listened to this broadcast, and you heard him say that, and that resonated with you. And you weren't feeling quite like there was the love connection. Well, God spoke to your heart. Would you say that's fair?
He spoke to my heart, but I also went into the second separation differently. First and foremost, our first separation, we went to our pastor at the time, and he kind of helped us through. But then when Valeria said separation was necessary, and I said, well, God laid on my heart at that conversation in the living room. I said, well, can we at least talk to our pastors before we before we go into separation? Because that's what we did last time. She said some words, but she agreed.
Okay.
And so then we did it. And I have to say that the counseling sessions we went through in the second one was totally different than the first one.
Because I didn't want, different. So different churches, different leadership.
Okay.
And I would say the first time, the things that we were going through, I was really shocked that our pastor agreed that we should separate. Honestly,
the second time,
yeah, the first time,
okay,
the very first time, because to your point, in the church, you're taught no matter what, you just stick it out, you work it out, you figure it out. All the things like, we ain't divorcing, like that ain't, because God hates divorce, which he does. He also forgives. But so in my mind, because you have to remember, I'm a checkbox person. Okay. I have lived my entire life checking all the boxes. Yes, doing all the right things and following, the scriptures and living, according to what God has said, and doing not that I didn't sin, but I did my best to line up my life with the scriptures. Because
there was an outcome that was expected based on following that path.
Exactly.
And once you found yourself off.
Right.
What's the results? Your results were different.
Very
You're like,
different.
well, I did this and this is supposed to happen.
Right.
I did this and this is supposed to happen.
Yes.
Well, what is going on, Jesus?
Because 1 + 1 is supposed to equal 2, but it was not equaling 2, and the picture was not what I anticipated it to look
So
like.
basically, 1 + -1 equals 0, and that's what she was getting. And in the midst of this conversation, and saying this is the beauty of being married for 20 years, I was listening to it, listening to what you're saying. Yes, I had in that beginning dealt with that checklist. I said, "Will you please stop checklisting me?" And so the biggest, and here's the thing: in our first separation, we had this round table. When we got back together,
Yeah, we got
back together, had this big round table with these big pies in there, right? Our biggest thing at that time was how we go about living.
Yeah.
How we think about, how we meditate, how we process things. So we sit at the table and I said, Valeria, one thing I admire about you, you take on tasks this big. This is stage 1. I, on the other hand, cannot handle all of that. That's too much pressure.
Okay.
I'm more like this. I'm gonna get this pie, but I'm gonna have to do it this way. Valeria is here and here and here, and she done. Me, I'm at home because if I do that, because nothing too, the way I was, and this I definitely know I'm growing because the way I'm speaking is different. Because years ago I was saying this is who I am, but no, the way I was is if it gets too much, I shut down. I still deal with that sometimes now, not as frank, but it's like levels, you know, like the first time it was this too much, I shut down. But now it's like weight training. You know, you put this weight on, okay, that's too much, and you add another 10 pounds. So it's growing. But yeah, if it gets too much, I shut down. And I think because of the fact of her checklist, and here's the thing about, the biggest thing about Aaron and our marriage, I knew what I was doing wrong. Because I knew it. Okay. But then you tell me, oh no, then I'm blowing all up. You ain't got to tell me I already know. But at the same time, though, the problem with that is if I'm not going to verbally tell her that, hey, I know I'm doing wrong, or I'm not going to work on that, she don't know.
Right.
And so therefore, when she come and telling me, it's now compounded. I'm already beating myself up because I was a perfectionist, because I was introverted, because I always don't want people to be disliking me or failure or consider myself a failure. So I was doing everything possible to make sure that I wasn't these things. And so therefore, and I also don't like to tell everybody what I've been doing, because if I don't do checklists, you say you was going to do this, I got an X. What are we going to do about it? I couldn't deal with that. You see right how
he did not like accountability at all.
Oh, accountability was not my friend.
If you're in a relationship right now and you're struggling with indecision about marriage, if you're caught between doubt and hope, if you're wondering, is this God's will for my life, or am I just afraid to let go? I created something specifically for you. The Women of Worth Academy Marriage Indecision course is a faith-based 6-module journey designed to help you move forward from confusion to clarity, from anxiety to peace, the same journey I had to walk myself. This isn't about me telling you what to decide. This is about equipping you with the biblical tools and practical strategies to make the right decision for your life with confidence, clarity, and God's peace. The Marriage Indecision course is available now at valeriawright.com. Your future is worth it. You are worth it. Go sign up today.
I want to talk about how faith has influenced your personal lives and your marriage. And the second thing I want to talk about is you mentioned therapy. I want to talk about some of those moments in therapy that really changed you and really changed your marriage. So
Well, I'm going to hit the therapy right now.
okay, all right, okay.
I want to give a shout out to James Quant. James Quantz was my therapist at the time. And James Quantz was a great therapist.
Okay.
I think he retired or now I'm moving on. So
Okay.
I was going to James. He understood me. He one of the things about therapy, you want to be able to not only be able to trust the person to talk to, but also get something back. And I did.
Okay.
I was doing the work. So, but he also did marriage counseling. So the first time I said, hey, I'd like to invite you to one of my counseling, she came. They was doing the separation, right?
Yeah.
So we'd sitting there talking. An issue came up. Now the biggest thing about me is I know how to express myself, but I know how to express myself in the ways that's tolerable, that doesn't look like because I'm very animated, and when I don't feel like people understand me, I get very animated and loud, look like a big gorilla. Oh, I'm the one, all that.
I would call him the angry bear.
I'm sorry. Angry bear. Whatever, however that be. So I had that angry bear moment.
Okay.
And I saw it, and Valeria was like, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So I'm sitting down.
That's the stuff I'm talking about right there.
For real. Like, I felt vindicated in that moment. Like, you see this, right?
My guy, James.
Okay.
And
So you're,
No
in, the,
offense.
you're in the therapist's
We in the
office,
therapy
and
session.
the angry bear makes an appearance.
the angry bear making appearance.
Oh, and that's oh my
Yes,
goodness. Okay.
yes.
So James, my man James, and this I had to do this. He's like, and he talks like this. So Sam, what you're saying is, and he emulated what I did.
Yes.
And he was like, oh, no, no. And he even got down on the floor. Now I didn't do that, but he got on the floor, bounding and all that, stood in the chair, all of that. And then he sat back and he like, is that what you're saying? And I was like, yes.
And I was like,
just like look. That's all I was saying. I felt like I was understood, and I sat back.
and I was confused, befuddled, just like, what?
You said, what? Why he do this and what's going on?
I'm like, huh? What? And so then he asked, so I'm just thoroughly just taken aback.
You're like, I
what
is
don't
going
know
on?
what just happened, but he did all of this. He did all of that. Asked him, is that what you were saying? He says, yes. And now I'm sitting there like,
What kind of therapist is this?
exactly. So then he said, well, Valeria, tell me how you feel. And so I tell him how I feel, da-da-da-da-da-da, woo-woo-woo-woo. And, all, reserved, sitting, I might have a few hand gestures because, I talk with my hands. But for the most part, I was very calm, da-da-da-da-da, woo-woo-woo. He said, so you're saying such and such and such and such and such. Is that accurate? Yes. And then me and Sam looked at each other. And he,
Is that all you was saying?
right. And I'm like, and that's what you were saying? And it was like, we've been talking all this time, but not understanding each other at all.
Wow.
Like,
He
because
was the code breaker.
he literally
Was the code
was cracking the code so we, for a while, for a few sessions, we would come in and say what it is we were saying. He would interpret it and say, is that accurate? Yes. And the other person would be like,
Oh.
that's what you were saying?
So what you all are, I just need to say this before I forget it. So what you're saying is a successful marriage. You need love. You need respect. Mutual respect. You need effective communication. And a very good therapist.
Listen,
But above all,
God.
God.
And so yes, James really helped me to understand and as well as give me tools. And so that I apply those tools, especially when it came down to the point of an explanation. So I literally, like before James, I would go through the whole conversation with Valeria in my head. Just so I could say, oh, how can I approach? Because, see, Valeria gives you that answer and that's it. I'm I'm the one. I need to go further than that because that answer just doesn't compute with me.
You need some whys, and you need
I need
like
to
this.
go-
You need her to show your math.
Yeah,
Right,
yes.
right.
And I'm like, I don't want to do that, and I don't need to do that.
I need to know step by step how you got here,
Right.
so I can figure out how to approach and how to and
Because that's how I process and think.
That's how you are. Yeah.
She done. Me, I'm like, well, see, this glass is technically taupe shaped, but but it's got this. I'm looking at it's just a glass, Sam. Put it down. But no, it's more than just a glass. And so that right there just shows the fact that our perspectives of life. Done. Me, I'm like, well, and that's why a lot of times I don't really do a lot of things because I'm looking at this glass and other than just picking up the glass and using it, I'm analyzing it. I'm looking at it. What am I going to do with this? How can I do this? Well, this could happen, and that could happen, or this can happen. And that's why I do sitting in a chair on any opportunity in life, even in my own marriage. Well, if I do this, how she receive it? Well, you know what? She don't usually receive it. Well, she might be mad. Well, but she might have a bad day. But at the same time, I do want to do that, but it may not be received.
So you overthink to the point of just
to the point I don't even do it.
inaction.
paralysis.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like
Analysis
because now you've
paralysis.
gone through the every outcome,
And now you tired.
it's like
Right. Then she come in, hey. And she wasn't even there.
what? But I love the fact that you all went to think you all recognized there was an issue. You wanted to stay together, even after you separated. You realized this is my person, and you did the work that was necessary to get to the next place.
Yeah.
And you sitting here listening to you now, I can tell some of the things were difficult just by the way you're saying it, you're communicating, and the way you're looking at each other, but you still did it.
Yeah.
You still did it. Why did you do it? Is it something as simple as I love him, I love her, or was there something else? Why did you make the effort to make you learned about yourselves, you learned about each other, you had those moments, and that propelled you. That propelled you to the next thing, and it's kept you going. Why?
Before I answer that, I want to take one step back and talk about a little bit about my therapy journey, which helps to tie it all together for me.
Okay.
So I'm with my therapist, and I go in there. I've never done, I had done therapy before that went horribly wrong. I go into this therapist, I go in there, and I'm just, I'm going to say it like I feel it. I was like, this young white woman cannot help me. That was the way I felt.
Okay.
I felt like she was too young and too inexperienced.
Okay.
And I felt like she was either my age or younger. And at that point, I'm in my 30s. So I'm like, what does she really know? Like, does she really have any background and reference to help me and to help me as a Black woman in my marriage?
Yeah.
So I had all these preconceived notions. That's important because at the very beginning of our session, I sat down and she said, "Why are we here? Why are you here?" And I tell her why I'm there. And after hearing my 5-10 minute spiel, she looks at me and she says, "Can we pray?" Now, it was important to me to have a Christian therapist because I wanted to make sure that I was with somebody that aligned with my values.
Okay.
My Christian values.
And James was Christian too.
Yes.
He was
Okay.
Christian.
Because the first therapist I went to, like I said, it went horribly wrong in that one session. I got what I needed out of that one session, but it wasn't, I was clear that I could not go back there. But this young lady, she said, "Can we pray?" And I said, and I'm shocked. Now, mind you, I searched for a Christian therapist. But she caught me off guard when she said, "Can we pray?" And I said, "Okay." And I'm sitting there now. I'm like, "What's going on?" Now I prayed for her. So she says, "God, I know that you're a God of miracles. We need you to work a miracle in this situation."
Was this after the first or the second separation?
This was the first separation.
Oh my God.
I said,
A miracle.
I'm literally, now I'm taken aback like, what?
What is she talking about? We need a miracle.
Did she just?
Oh my goodness.
Did she just
that's
pray for a
okay.
miracle?
That's funny. That's funny.
I said, but I would, but at the same time, I was comforted because I was like,
I know. You got a miracle. After she listened to you.
No water was spilled in the production of this.
Listen to you. I just have to. She listened to you for 10 minutes.
And
And then she said, can we pray?
for a miracle.
And then she said, Lord, I know you're a God of miracles.
I never thought about it like that.
We need a miracle, God. Oh my goodness.
I can't say that I've ever thought about it that way.
Oh my goodness. Okay, all right.
For me.
Thank you for the miracle.
That is hilarious.
I don't know who you are, but I thank you. I thank you. If we never met, my name is Sam. You prayed for the miracle. God used you. Thank you.
She didn't say, Lord, guide this session, give us wisdom.
No.
She said, you are a God of miracles.
That is how
I know you can work a miracle.
And I was like, wow. But for me, it was like, you said you wanted a Christian therapist. You've been saying that, you're following God in this situation. So you can't be mad that she just prayed for a miracle. Because obviously that's what you need. That's what y'all need is a miracle. So it opened me up to look for a miracle. And so after our third session, I think it was our second or third, I want to say it was our third session. And Sam had asked me to come to a session with him, with his therapist. And I asked her, I said, I don't know that I feel safe with his therapist. And she happened to know him. And she said, from what I know of him, I believe that you will be fine. And that he can help you. He can help you both. She said, I believe that he'll be able to be balanced, and he won't, just because he's his therapist, he won't take sides.
Oh, no, he didn't.
And so
He got on me too.
And so that's why it was so impactful when I got there, kind of like, I don't know what to expect here. And then that whole demonstration took place. He was like, is that what you were saying? He was like, yes. And then he was able to interpret my words. And is that what you were saying? Yes. And so it clicked. I'm telling you, we wouldn't have gotten there
if it wasn't for that.
Had I not had a Christian therapist who prayed
The miracle.
for a miracle.
The miracle happened right there and then because it was the communication barrier. Because your family sits down at tables and have conversations and talk. My family do it too, but it's a different conversations and how we talk. So that's why I said that historical makeup. I had to learn to take how I want to express and bring it to a level for understanding for her. And then at the same time, she got to say, okay, I know my husband's very analytical, so I got to be very critical in how I deliver this. So he won't be asking a whole bunch of questions. She don't. Just like, just like, I don't think you answered the question, but the reason I went to therapy and stuck through everything that we went through, especially in our marriage, because I know dating was one thing, but marriage was the other. It was I got to go back to one time we was on the phone and we was talking about, I think it was around, we was going through wedding plans and stuff. And I said, you know what? I hope that this marriage doesn't prepare us for the next. And we had a long silence and thinking like, we're going to break up and then what we went through is going to prepare us to be for the ones that God has for us.
Oh, when we were dating, yeah.
Dating.
Yeah, we were dating at that point.
Yeah.
We were like, I hope that this. No.
It was during the marriage.
We were married. It was.
During the wedding plan. Because we already said engagement.
So then we weren't married yet. If we were engaged,
it was engaged. It was
we were
the wedding.
engaged.
I thought during the wedding planning.
So during your engagement, what happened?
We had a conversation,
Okay.
and the thought came to me and said, "Well, man, what if we do like something about the divorce?" And I was like, "Well, maybe this is the preparing ground for our next." And so, but the thought of me being with another woman, nah. But at the same time, though, there's growth. What we go through is preparing us for the next you. And so Valeria was like, well, maybe. And well, that's how I kind of took it. Because one, every time we broke up, I was a better for her.
A better version. Yeah.
A better version for her. She was better for me. Well, she had to tell you I knew I was improving. I can't really say when she started to go up the ring.
The third time we broke up is when I started working on me.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't think she really, but I know I did the work.
So he was putting in the work. He was.
And so, and I think that's another reason too. I know I was putting in the work, but I'm not being recognized. I'm going to say it. Close ears. That pissed me off. So then, no, wait a minute, David. But seriously, that's how I was. So then, wait a minute.
Hold on, I'm doing the work, and it's still not good enough.
Right. WT, fill another letter. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, dude. So yes, that frustrated me because I also was at the point no one understood me or gave me credit for what I was doing. That's how I felt.
That's what you want. Somebody tells you, this is a change I want you to make. This is what's going wrong. This is what could be improved. You do those things and it's still not good enough. That is a very frustrating experience.
It's very frustrating.
Because it's like this. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I need you to tell me. You tell me. I share it. I give it back to you. I say, is this what you're saying? And then I do those things and I come back. I'm ready now. I'm like, okay, see, I did X, Y, Z, ABC. And you're not proud of me?
Or you don't say that's off your list, checklist, woman. You don't cross it off. But then you tell me, okay, you got to work on it. Whoa, hold on now, damn it. Hold on.
You got a whole
Wait a minute, what? And that's what I dealt with. Another damn list? How many more lists you get?
Without recognizing that I
at least did this part.
See, I'm a middle child, so I feel you on that because
I was the only child. Married to the baby child. So, and it's a beautiful thing. I ain't gonna say it's a beautiful thing. So I say all that because the reason that I stayed in,
okay,
it goes back to that conversation. I cannot move forward knowing that I did improvements if I didn't give her the chance to experience it. How dare I say, okay,
Wow.
yeah, I'm going to end this, and then she having to see me. And, we've seen the movie like Acrimony and all. We've seen the movies. The man was there, she was all there. Oh, and even like celebrity marriages. Okay, so I helped this person get to this point. He leaves, and then this woman, who I did all the work
benefits
and went through all the crap, but this woman gets the benefits. I did not want that on Samuel W. Wright III's name. So I said, no, Lord, only you, on the second step, only you can make this work. But I'm doing the work. What are we going to do, God? Because at the end of the day, the biggest thing that I had to learn was one, this is God's daughter. Who knows how to handle his daughter better than God himself? Yes, it's Lee J. Scott's physical daughter. Yes, the mom and dad Scott raised her. Just like my mom and dad raised me. But we are the man and woman of God. We accepted Christ. So what better person who formed them in the womb? They just did the do. But the womb making was in him. What clicked in the mind, how the residues and all that, and all the synapses and all that, God did. So who were better to understand how to take care of a woman than God? So Lord, if I am to love her like Christ loved the church and Jesus know me, help me to love your daughter. Help me to speak to your daughter. Teach me how to talk to your daughter. Teach me how to love your daughter. Because at the end of the day, I'm messing up because my hands is jacking it all up. This is second separation, guy. I can't deal with it no more. So you know what? We got therapy and all that, but you know what I did not do? Come to you in the first place. So here I am. I lay myself before you now, Lord God. Because what I don't want to happen is another separation, and I'll be doggone. I'm going to go to another woman and not let my wife, who I married, who you said this is my wife, go somewhere else, and I see her getting all the blessings and all the greatness, or she see me getting this with this other woman, they getting all that, and she didn't get it? Oh, no. That's why I stayed in it. That's one of my faith.
Your love, this is what I got from what you just said. Your love for my sister is so strong and has been so strong that you wanted to be a better person for yourself, but you also wanted her to benefit from it.
Yes.
You wanted her to get to the good part. And that goes back to what you said in the beginning, your dream of marriage. You wanted to be with someone who could help you. And from what I've seen from you since I've known you, you're loyal, committed, anchored. And this is, see, when we talk about marriage, a lot of people think about the buying the house, getting a car, having a very successful marriage. And a lot of those things are defined in their mind by material things.
Yeah.
I was just telling one of the younger folks in my life, it's not what someone can give to you physically that's the most important. And this is just my take. And I just feel it, see it here. And I did not know all of this. A lot of this is such a surprise. You need some more? A lot of this is such a surprise to me because I didn't know you like this, and again, I've seen it, but just hearing your heart and hearing you so passionate about your love for my sister, we have to have character. We have to have that love for God because you said, I want to honor God. Everything you said was just so meaningful and so powerful because you said, this is God's daughter. You said, this is God's daughter. God knows how to manage his daughter.
Right.
He loves God's daughter.
Yeah.
He's committed to God's daughter.
Yeah.
He's done ABC, XYZ. He's brought it to God's daughter on a silver platter. And he says, I want this to work.
Well,
a lot of people, you know what? I'm sick of this. I'm going to give up. Not that wasn't your thought at some point. I'm not saying that. And I know that they're not saying that wasn't your thought at some point.
I don't think that ever came across my mind.
I was about to say,
Really?
I don't know that ever.
Divorce was never an option with me.
Divorce was never an option for you.
And it for me.
So when she said, I got to go.
See, this speaks to
Like, what the world?
this really.
Okay, what did I do? Because the second I don't know, what did I do now? Now I did not do because I'm wait, why you want to separate?
And that takes me to, because you talk about how I was always the one to say, we're breaking up or, we have to separate. The first separation, I remember distinctly when I said, as in the midst of moving, and I said, this is, not, I don't think we should move together. We should, move to different places. And
in the midst of breaking down the house.
Right.
I just need to stop for a minute. I'm sorry. Please hold your thought. I'm packing. I'm wrapping glasses and newspaper. I'm wrapping the plates.
Not great.
We're going to put this in the basement of the new place that we're going. It's like, and all of a sudden, I think we're moving. No.
It's not my best moment.
And I'm moving.
And I'm like, and we was done. We spent all day packing this whole thing in our house. All I had left was the clothes in the closet.
We were literally like in the middle of packing the truck up.
We made sure everything was clear.
Like, for real.
And I'm like,
because I didn't know. Remember, he was an angry bear, so I wasn't sure how he would receive it. And so in my eyes, he was an angry bear. So I was like, I don't know how he's going to receive this. So I have to wait until the very last moment, but I have to tell him. And so like our friends were helping us move and pack up the truck. And so I was like, well, okay, Valeria, y'all done almost packed up everything in the house. You need to tell him. And so
because where are these things going?
Right. So I told him, but it was that was scary for me, and heartbreaking for him, I would probably imagine.
that was heartbreak. But the biggest heartbreak is when you know your separation and you come home and you see an empty place. I do not recommend. I hope you all don't ever experience anything like that. Well, you know, you about the second separation.
Yeah.
We in the apartment together. I went to go do a job, went to go film a wedding, and I come back home, and I ain't gonna lie, I didn't want to come home because I knew she was gone. But when you walk in, and all you see is a couch and a bedroom set and your office, and everything else is gone, that is one of the hardest hitting things I know ever wish anyone ever experienced. I know there are people out there that did experience it.
Yeah.
But it's very hard.
And it was hard. It was hard to do. It was hard for me to pack up. And, you know, I had one of our sisters and my friend to help. And it was heartbreaking to pack all of that stuff up. And I broke down on the elevator because I was just like, how did we get here again? Like, how did we get to the place where we are separating again? And my heart just broke because I'm like, I don't understand what we're doing wrong to have gotten here again.
And you didn't want to be there?
I couldn't be, like, it wasn't that I didn't want to be there anymore. I couldn't be there because I had lost respect for him. So when we talk about respect, like, I had lost respect for him.
Okay.
And so because I had lost respect, there was really nothing that he could have done at that point to make me feel differently.
Because
If you're in a relationship right now and you're struggling with indecision about marriage, if you're caught between doubt and hope, if you're wondering, is this God's will for my life? Or am I just afraid to let go? I created something specifically for you. The Women of Worth Academy Marriage Indecision course is a faith-based 6-module journey designed to help you move forward from confusion to clarity, from anxiety to peace, the same journey I had to walk myself. This isn't about me telling you what to decide. This is about equipping you with the biblical tools and practical strategies to make the right decision for your life with confidence, clarity, and God's peace. The Marriage Indecision course is available now at valeriawright.com. Your future is worth it. You are worth it. Go sign up today.
That was a horizontal crack in the foundation.
Yes.
And I want us to take this moment.
Okay.
Because of that, like I said earlier, one thing I learned about marriage is what you do, you will reap.
Okay.
And that's what I meant.
Okay.
I knew, and here's the thing, and I knew there were things I should have been doing, but I just didn't push myself to do.
Okay.
I used to live, I'm choosing these words very wisely and carefully because like what you speak will be, I'm used to live reactively.
Okay.
Once the rock and the hard place hit, then I spring to action. Not what's the word I'm looking for? Not being
proactive.
Proactively or not letting it happen. Okay, I know if I don't do this, this will happen. So I learned from my mistakes. But the things was, once I found that out, it was so quick how I got a job. I was just driving Uber. I knew I could have done that, but I just didn't want to do that. But then I did that. Then now also I had to live on my own. I never lived on my own. I went from my parents to marriage.
We both did, yeah.
Dependent. So now I got to, and not only that, because we live independent, or in all honesty, because even then, I didn't make enough, but I still supplied, but it wasn't enough to say I am providing in her eyes. But I was giving from what I was making, but it wasn't received. All she knew was, and it's true, I have a college degree. Why are you stuck in this position? Because I was afraid to achieve. I was afraid to step out. I was afraid to move forward. I was afraid to walk in what I know. Just like, for instance, all that you see right here, this is Samuel Wright. This whole set, all these camera angles, all that, this is Samuel Wright. So I thank God for the gift and talent.
You're excellent at what you do.
And I received. Thank you, Lord. And thank you, Valeria. And to step out into that, feared, I was so scared because I feared failure more so than, okay, you learn from this and move on. And that's pretty much why I kept myself from moving forward into workings that, quite frankly, we probably should have been in Hollywood or at least in a different position. But I also cannot say God knew the plan. God knew our lives. And all this had to happen for a reason to this moment right here. Ain't no telling where this is going to go from this point. And that's what gives me hope and not regret. Because everything that happens for a reason. God wrote this out. Okay, so I'm going to have Sam and Valeria meet this day. I'm going to have Sam and Valeria separate this day. I'm going to have Sam and Valeria this way. This one, Sam's going to actually let me do his work on him so he can be a husband. And this one, Valeria's going to say, okay, Lord, I need you to help me be a better wife. And then next thing you know, they're going to talk about them this day. And then next thing I know, Sam is now open up to share his testimony and help others to see this. I don't know what this is going to do for us. Valeria, tell you, I didn't want to do this. I don't want no one to know about it.
I didn't want to do it either.
We didn't want to do it.
Let's be honest, but I felt God pushing me. I know God said season 2 of Preston to Purpose is about marriage. And you cannot ask people about their marriages without sharing your story. You all have been through 20 years. It's time to share your story.
I want to talk about something that's very common in today's in today's environment.
Okay.
Many times the woman will earn more than her husband, even though they're equally educated. Mm-hmm. And especially when you have a creative person paired with the technical person. Yes, you're creative, but your job is very technical. Mm-hmm. And creatives, our income fluctuates. So was that part of the struggle financially? And then, and if the financial part was part of the struggle, how did you all manage that? How did you get through that with your income being sporadic, you following your dream, and having everything that you need to make a lot of money? As creatives, we're creating. And when we find something that feeds our souls, we like to stick with it. And the person that we're with often has to shoulder that load. And I know that nothing but love could sustain you this long, 20 years.
Yeah.
But I did not understand the depth of respect that has grown between the two of you.
Yeah.
I knew there was a lot of love, but it feels like the love has just blossomed between the two of you.
It really has, because we've learned how to speak. It's not just know what each other's love languages are, but actually be intentional about speaking to each other in our love languages.
So your communication style has greatly improved.
Yes.
Communication styles. Also, one of the things that I have to learn in order for us to be in this place is that she's not trying to hurt me. I had to actually learn how to say it's okay for me to speak when I'm struggling with something or when I'm dealing with something. She's not my enemy. Because for years, I lifted Valeria up as a pedestal even before God.
Okay.
Because I'm like, because the way Valeria's 80-20, I'm always going to be wrong. Even if she overcooked the fish, I cooked the fish. Or you know, or someone at work cussed her out. No, it was me that cussed her out. You know, I was the one. I was always beneath. You know, and so
I would literally always say it's your fault, but I would be joking.
Okay. But I took it very literally.
He internalized all of that.
Okay.
And I didn't know that.
Right. So to learn,
because we joke like that.
Yeah, all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
and so once I really came to the point of after our second separation and really dealt and told her, and I remember this, I said, look, what I cannot take is you leaving me again. I can't take that no more.
And I said, I cannot take walking out again.
And I told her, I said, I did not like you. And it took me a while to forgive her for her leaving, because I didn't. Even though I understand all the reasons why, I get it. But I didn't say I'm out. I was in it. And so, and even then, and even through that, You know, so to get to that point, and even like you asked earlier, is about the fact that we had 2 different incomes. Mm-hmm. And I think in the beginning it was really hard.
Okay.
Because I was working, but I wasn't working on my stuff.
Okay.
Then I got fired.
Okay.
Then I tried to do the acting and all that to get into Hollywood. That went down. Then, got working again in Menzies, but I didn't work on me.
Okay.
Went up the ladder at Menzies. But even then, at that time, when we was in Bellwood, that wasn't even, this is good, but this is not, I'm like, but I'm stepping up. You're not going to acknowledge the fact I went from tying the pilot to lead to supervisor. You're not going to acknowledge none of that? And so it was like, well, why am I doing this? And yet you want me to do these things, but why am I going to do this if you're not acknowledging the little things I'm doing? Because I'm a words of affirmation guy. And if you're not giving me words of affirmation, and I know for Valeria, it wasn't until our second separation when she said the one thing. We got off the phone with State Farm, and I was just like, I don't know, I'm going to do this. I got to take care, because I was dependent. And she said, in the nicest, kindest way. And she said, Sam, you got this. You can handle this. Now, she says it all the time, but just the way she said it gave me the encouragement. I walked out of that room and I told her, and my heart broke and I cried and I said, that's the first time I actually felt that you meant what you said. And she's like, but I've been saying all the time. But the way you did it, the way you said, I actually felt encouraged. I felt love. And I walked out that room stronger and went on my day.
And that was just before I left the second time. But it was also, that was year 16.
Okay.
So imagine me thinking that I'm doing a good job these second 8 years of encouraging him and telling him that he's doing great and all these things. And he isn't receiving it because of the way that I'm saying it. And there's a poignant story in this. So in the second separation, we're, living, he's living in his apartment, I'm living in my apartment. And I had gotten to the point where I had finally started praying and saying, okay, God, I'm here. You said that separation was necessary, so what are we doing? Because I don't want to do this anymore. Mm-hmm. I would rather just get divorced and move on with my life. Mm-hmm. But you're saying that separation is necessary, so what are we doing? And it was at that point. Wait, what part of the story was that? You said something that made me think about this. The poignant part of the story. Oh, yes. So I got to the point, and I was praying, and I was just thinking about things and thinking about our relationship, and I had started praying. And it was a prayer that was mostly about God changing my heart, which was hard. And then about our marriage. But Sam, I remember distinctly saying, I've always encouraged him. Mm-hmm. I've always told him that he wasn't, because in the household that we grew up in, we were told, you're not a dummy. You're not slow. You're not a dummy. You can do whatever. Mm-hmm. So in my mind, I would say some of those same things to him. Like, you're not a dummy. You're not stupid. You can do anything. Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't realize that when I was saying those things, what he heard was, you're a dummy. Mm-hmm. You're stupid. Because he wasn't raised in a household like that. So the way I learned how to encourage was not translating well with him at all. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until I was sitting there talking to God and I heard myself saying, you're not a dummy, you're not stupid. I was like, oh my God. He thinks that I think that he's dumb and stupid. Mm. And I had never, ever even thought about that's how somebody else might interpret what I'm saying. And I'll never forget, I was so excited with this revelation. And I called Dad, and because I was like, because Dad is the one that's how he encouraged us. And I called him and I said, Daddy, I got to tell you.
Oh boy.
And I was like, I'm always, Sam said that, I don't really encourage him and this and that. And I was like, but I was always telling him, you're not a dummy, you're not stupid. He was like, yeah. So I said, but Dad, that's not good. He was like, what do you mean? I said, that's not good. Like, he wasn't receiving it. He was like, I don't know. I don't understand why. Because he's not a dummy. And he's not stupid. And he is smart. And he can do whatever. I was like, yeah, but the way I was phrasing it, he wasn't receiving it. And Dad didn't understand. But it was at that moment that I was like, he's not going to understand because we received what he said the way he said it. And we turned out pretty decently. So he's wired. You know what I'm saying?
That's what works.
Exactly. So I just have to take the revelation that I now have, and I called Sam and I told him, and he was like, well, it's about time. And I was like, huh?
Oh, wow.
What?
This is why it's good to have two people tell the story, because I don't even remember this conversation.
You don't?
I don't.
Oh my God. He was like,
he don't remember. You will never forget.
I will never forget. He said, it's about time that you understand where I'm coming from. He was like, every time you said that to me, I felt like you were telling me I was dumb and stupid. And
I remember that.
And I'm like, for real? And I was like, wow. So in my own way, unknowingly, I was sabotaging my own relationship.
You had no idea.
With poor communication.
Because, and it took her, even during that time, the boundaries books.
Oh, yes.
And so, and Valeria said it very clear. I had no boundaries because I put on masks to make sure everyone was cool, don't bother me. I had my own way of chameleon. Chameleon for her. But the problem is she see me all the day, so I just can't, because after a while you're tired wearing that mask at the beginning.
You take it out.
And then who is this guy? This is who I am. Let me be in my room, play NBA 2K, tell me when to eat, and I come see you in the bed when I'm ready to go to sleep. That's how I was. I was very introverted. Because at the end of the day, I didn't feel, at the time, early in our marriage, I didn't feel like I could come into a warming home. I didn't feel like I could come in and say, okay, I could release. Not only that, we only have one TV. She watches period stuff. I don't want to watch it. She watches Downton Abbey. She watches Paul the Midwife. Bridgerton. I did watch a little Bridgerton.
Your mom in the Crown.
Hey. Now look,
we
the
did
Crown.
get into the Crown.
I did get into Crown. Up to season 2.
But he likes like the suspense and the thrillers.
The
and
way they did the Crown was good.
The documentaries.
Mindhunters, that's me. Okay. Yes, I watched Dahmer. I did. Not because I'm crazy, because I want to understand how can someone become. It's like reading a documentary. How did Martin Luther King become Martin Luther King? That doesn't make you crazy. You want to know how that's like us. How our marriage is 20 years. That's our documentary.
Yeah.
All right. So at that time, I was pretty much, I'm doing all I can. I'm not getting no recognition. Bump it. I know I can get recognition by myself. But it's not healthy though. Because at the end of the day, when you sit by yourself, when you're still, and all you hear is this negativity and this festering, it didn't build me up. It just kept me in a solid place, and going through the journeys of our early years, it really just kept me in a dark place. But it wasn't until the second where I had to deal with myself. My friend Barry put me on this personality test. Now I ain't gonna lie, this personality test knew me. I was like, how in the world? This personality, I forgot what it was called, but this personality test, I took it, and when I got the results, I'm like, you don't know me. I'm like, what the? I was cussing. I was like, wait a minute. And I'm reading. I'm like, yeah. Okay, so how I go against this? Oh, that makes sense. And then I told Valeria about it. She said, no, this don't know me. She got the same thing, but
yeah, I felt seen as well. I was like exposed, like seen in a bad way. Like I felt exposed. I was like, this is rude.
Like, okay, then let me talk to the Lord because He sees me all the time. Because this is too close to home. Like, do you just follow me for the rest of my life? This is like, But anywho, I say all that to say, yes, at that time, it was good to be understood.
Okay.
It was good to hear. Well, actually, for me at that time, I prayed what I prayed. I lifted her up to the Lord and said, now look, you got to deal with your daughter. I can't.
Okay.
Deal with me. And to me, that was more so guys like, hey, see what you do? See what happens when you let me do? So just let me continue doing. I'm like, okay. And that's what we did. And so to hear that and to hear the things that I even like, but don't you understand, but even then I didn't really have, in all honesty, I didn't even have a place to go to talk to people. Growing up, going in my early marriage. I had one conversation with my dad and he told me one thing and I'm like, okay, there goes that. And then, I could have talked to her dad, but at the same time, you his child. So how that's going to help me? He's going to side with you. Now, you could have given me some insight.
But he probably wouldn't have. That's the part you don't know.
Speaking from experience, yeah, he did
Probably
not
wouldn't have.
automatically side with us.
He did not.
Yeah,
but that's assumption. And that's another thing, too, I dealt with. Assuming Valeria would do this. Assuming that would happen. Assuming, which kept me from a lot of things. Which also kept me from a lot of things, not just in my marriage, but also outside it in my life what I'm supposed to be doing. Assuming this, I didn't think I would have this much fun or be this open in this conversation. I came in here saying I would not. And here's the thing, I've gone to the point of knowing, Sam, you say all the give it about a minute and then say, now he's open. And now look at it. You all watching this from whatever part this may be. You said this man was like, I'm grateful. Eating Skittles. And now, that was wrong. If you got Skittles in the hand, eating Skittles and talking about I'm grateful. So now you can't cry at me now.
Facts on the next episode of Pressed into Purpose.
We made an industry of it too. As people started selling these purity rings, everybody's writing a book about it.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
you had youth ministries.
That's true.
Holding whole services. That's where White and
I remember. Yeah.
And then I remember people. I'm a virgin in Christ.
I never went to him, but I remember.
I'm a virgin in Christ. My body count 742, but I'm a virgin in Christ. It's
I'm been reset.
Right, I'm factory reset. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm pure now.
I am pure today. I was a hoe yesterday, but I'm pure today.
I understand why I can't get married. I had two bodies. Right. Let me reset.
Well,
okay, I'm ready.
Right, and the message is because you reset, now you deserve a husband or wife.
See you next time.